Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the Virgo weekly outlook. All right guys, I hope you guys are doing well. All right, let's just turn my music down a little bit. This month, before we get started, just reminding you all that it's May and it's a new tarot deck giveaway, and this month it's an oracle deck, the Fairies Oracle deck, illustrated by the renowned Brian Froud, who is one of the great fantasy and fairy sort of illustrators and graphic artists. Beautiful, beautiful deck. So let's get right into it. You know, I'm gonna start shuffling out your spirits and give it a minute. Let a few people join. So Virgos, how you doing, man? How are you guys? You know, your readings lately have been really, they've been really something. You know, a lot of them have involved issues with love, mixed with business. But we're going to see. This is a general outlook for the coming week, May 3rd to the 10th. So let's just get ready to pull out your spirits of darkness and light. See what kind of spirits you're working with. Then we're going to pull out your animal spirits, and then we're going to get right into your spreads. All right, guys. Spirit of the moon. Cycles, visions, dreams coming out. All right, guys. All right, Spirit of the Moon already came out, so let's see what else you guys have. We have Spirit of the Ring. Ooh, that's very nice. A commitment, contract, a promise. Spirit of Connections. Wow, really very, very nice energy. I'm just going to keep these three because Spirit of the Moon already came out. I generally take 3 spirits for you guys for the weeklies. Let's see what your animal spirits are all about. Spirit of the Ring, Connection, Spirit of the Moon. Are some of you guys having a vision or perhaps dreams of coming together with your soulmate? Some of you are indeed resonating with it this week. You may be getting married or you may be getting engaged. You may be connecting with someone. Let's see what kind of animal spirits Virgo is working with. Wow, this feels good so far. So good. I hope this is a nice portend of connections happening. You know, certainly. I'm not gonna take all 4 of those. Show me what's going on for Virgo. Show me. All right, let's see what kind of animal spirits you have this week. The Firefly. Inspiration is coming in for some of you. We have the Stingray. Water energy, talking about really standing up for yourself and your emotions, validating your emotions, knowing that your feelings are valid, rather. And we have the Hyena. So the hyena's shown up a couple times, and it's interesting because it's one of those animal spirits that really doesn't show up a whole heck of a lot, right? But let's go ahead and review before we get into your actual spreads for the week, Virgo. The Firefly. Well, the Firefly's air energy is associated with inspiration coming in, right? Just like we associate the firefly in the wild, you know, it's one of these creatures that just suddenly lights up out of nowhere. Oftentimes you catch them out the corner of your eye, and just as quickly as it's come in, it's gone. And so this is the nature of inspiration anyway, right? So when the firefly comes in, oftentimes, you know, what you want to do is you want to pay attention, because the spirit of inspiration, of awareness, of awakening, brilliant ideas coming in, that spirit, that energy is around you. Could be that you're looking for inspiration to come in as well. And if that's the case, pay attention, because just like the firefly, it comes very quickly and it disappears very quickly. Now, the spirit of the stingray is all about emotional sort of confidence, right? Emotional confidence, standing up for yourself, developing sort of an emotional sort of spine in a lot of ways. Stingray energy, a lot of times this can be sort of standing up to people in your life who have up until now played a sort of authoritative figure, or perhaps they are people you don't want to disappoint, like parents or relatives, right? And a lot of times, stingray energy is really about breaking out of the mold that certain people have sort of either placed us in or we've allowed ourselves to be put in for the sake of not wanting to rock the boat. And so now the stingray, when the stingray comes in, he's absolutely wants to rock the boat. He absolutely wants to sort of make sure that he has some autonomy, some some separateness, some individuality, ability to sort of make sure that his desires are known and felt and manifest. Right now, the hyena. This is what I was saying earlier about the hyena. Is a very interesting animal spirit, guys. The hyena is associated with wit, sarcasm, humor. But oftentimes the hyena is an individual who's very sort of unfulfilled, right? Unfulfilled dreams, right? Unfulfilled sort of goals, passions, dreams. This wit, this humor, this sarcasm that is associated with the hyena is oftentimes used as a way to cover up their sort of deep feeling of inadequacy. So it's a very specific kind of self-esteem or self-confidence issue. It's specifically feeling inadequate, feeling like you don't measure up. And so, to cover that up, to hide that, and to sort of make yourself feel better. And I'm not saying you per se, Virgo, but whoever is resonating with this hyena energy, oftentimes they will use wit, sarcasm, humor. But the humor is very biting. And I think you know what I'm talking about. Like, we've all been friends or had that friend who's like that, right? They're humorous, they're funny, everything's a joke. But after a while, you start to realize that there's a lot of pain underneath of that. This is very different than someone who's like legitimately funny, like the comedian. We're talking about somebody who's really using this kind of energy to really cover up pain. And so it comes off funny. It's like, oh, that hurt, or it winces. Sometimes it can be very difficult to be in the company of somebody who's resonating with hyena energy because you can see right through it, right? You can see right through this sort of, happy-go-lucky, jolly attitude. Everything's a joke, and you realize that they're really quite pained inside, hurting inside. All right, Virgos, let's get right into your spread. You could be dealing with a hyena individual, hyena personality this week, or you may have a person in your life who's resonating with this right now. We're going to know more as we get out your spreads, okay? So now my regulars, my subscribers, shout out to you guys. Love you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video if you're liking what you're seeing. That's all I need from you to help me along, is to like and subscribe. So my regulars know I'm going to pull out 3 spreads for the week. You may or may not resonate with either of them, right? They're just intended to be 3 separate outlooks for Virgos or what you may or may not be going through, okay, guys? So, show me what's up for my Virgos. Virgo, the most ancient of the constellations, interestingly enough. Show me. All right, guys. So, straight out, we have, 8 of Swords, 3 of Cups, and we have the 3 of Swords. Wow. Ho, 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 ho. Well, some of you are coming into this week, that 8 of Swords energy, huh? Feeling very much left out, feeling very much like you've been put in a position where you have no control. You're unable to sort of make the decisions that you want to make. 8 of Swords is an energy that can very quickly turn toxic. It is generally that gaslighter energy or that victim energy, someone who plays the victim. But it can also sometimes just feel like you are resonating. This is the position for the energy that you're coming into the week with. So sometimes what can happen is, and this is why I want to take a moment with this card, because Virgo, it's not so much that you are resonating with so much toxicity, but the beginning essence or energy of the 8 of Swords, it starts with a feeling of not having control. It starts with a feeling of alienation. It starts with a feeling of being ostracized, perhaps for the way you think or the opinions or the positions that you hold. Now, oftentimes, eventually, what we realize is that, of course, we are not being ostracized by others. We are really just sort of a victim of our own sort of attitudes, right? And this is where we get into the much more toxic side of Eight of Swords. But it's interesting that you're coming into the week with this, Virgo. It feels, I think for some of you, you do feel very much like sort of constricted. It's almost like a straitjacket. I think that you feel like you don't have any control in a love connection or in a relationship. Three of Cups is what you come into the week with. So it's interesting because Eight of Swords kind of makes me feel like something's been going on, right? In a particular love connection or a particular connection you have, Virgo. And it's felt very much like out of your hands. It's felt like sort of completely out of your hands. And it's felt like you've been really kept in the dark about something. This week, you may have some socializing going on. Three of Cups is really bonding with friends. You're gonna be going out. You're gonna maybe going out. We're still on lockdown, a lot of us. You may be going out. You may be talking to friends. But it's interesting. What comes out of it is a betrayal because you round off your week with a Three of Swords. So for some of you, Virgos, this is going to be a very painful week because I think I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like what's going to happen is that you may be coming back into contact with friends that you may not have seen for a little while, perhaps especially during this sort of worldwide lockdown. And what's going to happen is you're going to find out that over this recent period, somebody has betrayed you. Someone very close to you has betrayed you. You may even find out some information about sort of third-party energy or cheating energy. Now, Three of Swords is not necessarily third-party energy. It is a betrayal. Someone cheating on you is a huge example of betrayal, but that's not all Three of Swords is. However, in this particular situation and spread, I'm feeling like this is what it is. It feels to me like you're going to be finding out that somebody has stepped out of a relationship with you in some kind of way. You're going to be finding, I think you're going to be definitely finding this out through your socializing and your conversations with friends this week. I think it's going to be one of those things like you accidentally find out something. And a lot of it is going to take you right back to this Eight of Swords because there is something about the way you have been sort of interacting with somebody that's kind of almost led to this Three of Swords. This is a very, very toxic, I'm going to say, connection here. This is a connection with someone I think who probably has been betraying you for quite some time. It can be that, Virgo, some of you may be resonating with that Eight of Swords because over a period of being with this person and having to deal with their betrayal, which I do think has happened before, you have begun to take on a little bit of toxicity yourself. You have begun to take on a little bit of that victim energy. And I think you want to be careful this week, right? We really want to talk about sort of release from all of that and coming out of all of that. This is a really messy situation, I'm going to say, and it's going to get a little bit messier before it cleans up. Certainly, there's going to be a need for you to really sort of, if you're resonating with this, certainly this Eight of Swords, there's going to be a real need for you, Virgo, to sort of face up to how you have sort of allowed this to happen to a certain degree, or how you have sort of enabled this situation. That's what this Eight of Swords is letting me know. There was an enabling factor here. And I think that you really, this week, not only will you wake up to this pretty deep betrayal, but I think that you may indeed also wake up a little bit to how you have enabled this betrayal to happen in the first place, because it definitely feels to me like this has been a long time coming, certainly. All right, guys. Sun energy, beautiful. Judgment, wow. And Four of Cups. Okay, so another weird, I don't want to say weird, but really odd emotional relationship connection. Sun comes out. So some of you are resonating with Sun energy. You're coming into the week with growth and warmth, and all eyes are on you. A lot of clarity. There's a lot of room for sort of progression right now. You just feel very sort of like out of the darkness into the light, right? This kind of energy. But I want to say, Virgo, you come into the week and there are some events that happen that as judgment comes in. So judgment is really about sort of waking up to like maybe our own sort of narrow viewpoints on something. I think what happens this week is that There's an event that happens, or there is a meeting, perhaps, right? You may be meeting somebody, person, place, or thing, something like that that occurs this week. And it's all about reconciliation. It's all about sort of forgiveness and understanding. You may even be meeting with somebody that you haven't seen for a while, or I want to say somebody that you may have been in a relationship with before. There's a real feeling of sort of speaking and talking and reconciling and getting things out in the open. It almost feels like you might be running into somebody that you dated a long time ago, right? And so it's not even so much a reconciliation, but the forgiveness and all of that is kind of come in because of time, right? It's been such a long time. Having said that, by the end of the week, though, I think this individual who comes into you that you're having this kind of mending of bridges with wants to go further. They hand you a cup of love and you're really not interested. So it's funny. It almost feels to me like, Virgo, some of you this week are really have transcended up in your lives in general. This is represented by the sun. And I think there's someone in your life who maybe sees that, or they may have gone through their own sort of journey of healing, but they come in this week and you guys have this conversation. The conversation is going to be very much like, that was a long time ago. I've grown, you've grown, no hard feelings, sort of situation. But you're doing very, very well right now, Virgo. And although it's a very kind of, happy sort of, okay, water under the bridge, it's almost like I feel like you're going to be walking away from the conversation like, oh, okay, that was very nice, and carrying on with your life. And the other person, I feel their energy very much like, wow, you know what? I'm so glad I was able to sort of clear the air with my Virgo, but that's not enough for me. I want more from them. And they're going to step forward to you and want to offer you a cup of love. And I think the surprise is that you don't want it. Could be definitely somebody that you may have wanted a cup of love from before, Virgo, but because you've gone through so many changes, you've matured so much, and you've transcended so many of these issues that were in the past with this person. You don't need to be with them. And I think that you don't need their cup of love either. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like one of those things like, when you meet somebody and you guys had some rough times in the past, but you're happy to talk about it and have that conversation, but you're kind of over it because your life is doing so well. And they are also okay, but their life might not be quite as doing as well as yours, or they might not be quite as fulfilled right now in their lives as you are. And so as you're able to walk away and be like, okay, deuces, that was nice to talk to you, but I got shit to do. They're kind of like, uh-oh, I want to go with Virgo. Very interesting feeling. For some of you, I'm going to say it's definitely a healing, and it's definitely a moment that you've been waiting for with this particular connection for a long time. Page of Wands, Nine of Wands, and Nine of Swords. All right, so this is interesting. We have two spreads with double numbers. This is a deep week for you, Virgo. Okay, so definitely threes and nines are your number this week. Okay, some people have been asking me about that, and if I do see a trend for certain numbers, or if I feel that there's a certain number impacting your life, I will start to tell you that. But please don't go out and start betting on 3 and 9. I'm just saying that threes and nines are factoring into your life. 3 is the number for bonding, harmony, and unity, loyalty, and virtue in the tarot. And 9 is a number for the hermit, for solitariness, for that last little step before the end, the light at the end of the tunnel, the last little bit of work that you need to do. It is the penultimate step. So this is what we associate with 9. Some of you are coming into this week, Virgo, with Page of Wands energy. So you're feeling extremely idealistic. You're ready to go on something. There's an idea that you have that you feel extremely passionate about, and you're ready to go with it, right? Page of Wands. Pages are always earth. And if you think of pages in those terms, they're always the earthy aspect of the suit, and they always represent the initial fear of that suit. So when we're looking at a Page of Wands, it's very much that sort of desire of getting the nitty gritty done, the practical steps done towards your goal or your vision or your passion. Wands are about fire and passion, ideals, right? A vision that you may have for your future. And so Page of Wands is the one who really wants to get working on that. He wants to get working on that future, and he wants to get sort of stuck in the mud and get going, right? He's also overcome that initial fear, the fear of that we all have when we first learn to express ourselves creatively. When we first learn to sort of like follow our passions without giving a shit about what the rest of the world thinks, right? That takes a step. That's a step of overcoming fear, and that is the first step of overcoming fear in the Wands court card hierarchy, right? So you're doing this. You're coming into the week, Virgo. You are ready to go. You're ready to put the work in. However, you're kind of like, like it's not even so much that you're halted like a Three of Wands, but you're kind of like now all of a sudden this new passion that you have, Virgo, this new idealism that you have, this new kind of sort of beginning vision that you have for your future, it's making you look at your past. So this week, you come into the week strong, fiery, but this week, the various events that happened this week and the various energies that are coming back to you this week really are reminding you of, I want to say, not so much of the past per se, but they are letting you know that you aren't quite done with the stage that you're at now. This Page of Wands it's I know, for those of you who are resonating with this, it's this very strong feeling of wanting to start something new, but you're not quite ready yet because you still have your foot in the present or in what will be the old once you start the new, but you're still in that moment, right? So Nine of Wands is starting to look back and realize how this week, for instance, right before you can start on your new sort of path, you're looking back. Certain events are reminding you or showing you how you have sort of impacted your own progression in the past, right? Where you still need to make some healing or do some healing or make some changes, right? This could be like just your outlook on certain things. It could be, your position, your outlook, some of the crutches you might still have. You might be still carrying a little bit of baggage around with you from the past, from events that you've had to deal with in the past. And so what I mean to say is that this week you're realizing that some of these things really need to be dealt with within you. Dealt with in terms of coming to terms with them or understanding them or working on them to heal them a little bit more before you can move on with this new sort of passion that you have. Nine of Swords is how you round off your week. And again, I want to say this, like I said, this is a real week of catharsis in a way and sort of clearing out the old, because Nine of Swords is anxiety and worry. And so you can't really move on with this, Virgo, here, this new passion, this new ideal, until you conquer this worry and anxiety that you're still kind of suffering under. And I think that this Nine of Swords anxiety is associated with still some healing that you need to do, still some baggage that you may still have around you. It feels to me, Virgo, like some of you are, you want to make that step into a new life. You want to make that step into a new adventure, but you may indeed suffer with a lot of anxiety. You may suffer with just a lot of worrying, worrying about things not working out, worrying about the past repeating itself, right? Worrying about not being enough, just having a general level of anxiety. This anxiety is coming because you still have some healing to do here. You know what I mean? So this is what I mean to say there's still a little bit of work that needs to be done here, Virgo, for some of you who are resonating with this before you can completely embrace this new ideal project, idea, leg in your life, a chapter in your life, adventure, whatever this is that you feel so strongly about. You really won't be able to sort of fully embrace that until you deal with some of these lingering ghosts that you have. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that, Virgo. This is your weekly outlook for May 3rd to the 10th. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because all of that really helps me out. The only way I can grow on YouTube is through you liking my videos and sharing my videos and subscribing. And so I am very appreciative to all of you who do that. Don't forget, this month, the Fairies Oracle is the deck that I am giving away. It's a beautiful oracle set, deck, card set, and guidebook. Beautiful hard back guidebook and illustrated by the renowned Brian Froud. If you don't know his work, Google him. He is phenomenal. He is, you know, sort of one of the premier fantasy illustrators of the 19th and I would say, I guess, of the 20th and 21st century. Not the 19th. He'd have to be like 100 years old. But yeah, incredible deck. So if you're interested, of course, all you have to do is be subscribed and leave me a comment somewhere on the videos letting me know you're interested. If you leave a comment, you don't see your comment on there right away, please just give it a moment. I've had to sort of switch my comments to, I've had to approve all comments because I got spammed most recently. Like somebody sent me like 1,300 spam comments, which totally messed up my whole comment section. And so now I can't automatically approve your comments. I'm going to have to just physically go through them myself and approve them. All right, guys. So please don't worry. If you want to make a comment, leave a comment and it will be approved shortly. All right, guys. I love you so much. Have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and above all, stay kind to each other. Take it easy. Bye-bye now.